In the first, a man in the US has got a heart transplant from a genetically modified pig. The first operation of its kind has been successful and is a major milestone animal to human transplantation.
He's awake, he is recovering and speaking to his caregivers, and we hope that the recovery that he is having now will continue.
"57-year-old David Bennett is recovering from his experimental heart surgery that was performed 3 days ago. But unlike other heart transplants, Bennett's surgery was the first of its kind. Bennett was suffering from terminal heart disease and was ineligible for an artificial heart pump or conventional heart transplant. Patients are often deemed ineligible for organ transplants when they are in very poor health. Thus, David Bennett's only option to live was to sign up for an experimental surgery, which is a genetically modified pig's heart would be transplanted to him.
He simply didn't want to die, doesn't want to die. And he felt that if he had no opportunity, and he was pretty well convinced by multiple doctors who had told him he had a fatal disease and he was unlikely to leave the hospital because of it. With that as a background, as an alternative, he said to me two very important things. He said, "I don't want to die." And he said, "If I do, maybe you'll learn something to help others."
On the 31st of December, the US FDA granted an emergency authorization for the operation. To make it work, experts removed 3 genes that are responsible for the rejection of pig organs by the human immune system. Another gene that could have led to excessive pig heart tissue growth was removed, and 6 human genes responsible for acceptance of the human system were added. The experimental transplant was considered to be the last hope for the survival of David Bennett. However, the long-term impact of this surgery on his survival is unknown.
So the driver for all this was to provide an opportunity for patients with end-stage heart disease who couldn't either qualify or just didn't get a heart in time to treat their really poor heart function with a transplant.
The 7-hour-long heart transplant procedure was performed 3 days ago. According to the doctors, without the surgery, the patient would have died. If this surgery proves to be a success in the long term, then it could revolutionize organ transplants. The use of animal organs is called xenotransplant. The use of pig heart valves is already common in heart procedures.
What everybody wants, right, is not to be limited simply by the supply of human organs for transplant. And, a number of the organs can be treated, and used in this way from an animal and can be commercialized basically as a drug, right? And in essence, on-demand delivery, right? You would have it delivered, removed, and delivered. If that's true, we will obviously change the face of what's possible for people who now wait years for a heart transplant.
As per the reports, the procedure has been successful and David Bennett's body has not rejected the heart. His recovery is being closely monitored by experts at Maryland Medical Center.
We are all very excited to see this pig heart beating in this human. This pig heart has performed so far very well, even beyond our expectations. We have not seen any signs of rejection.
Surgeon Bartley Griffith, who performed the transplant, says that the world is one step closer to solving the organ shortage crisis. Every part of the world is perpetually in organ shortage, as organs can only be donated by family members of the patient or registered donors who are at the brink of death or are brain dead. Organs such as the heart can only be transplanted from patients who are brain dead and have no chance of recovery. The organ shortage crisis is so severe that 17 people die waiting for a transplant every day in one of the world's most developed countries, the USA.
It is a game changer because, now we will have these organs readily available. If this works, and I hope it will work, we'll have these organs available. We can, we have the technique of genetically modifying. So if there are more tweaking required for modifying the genes, we will be able to do that, and can customize basically the heart or the organ for the patient.
For now, David Bennett is again breathing on his own. What will happen next is unclear.